Racing to the 2021 Kentucky Derby. This is part 2 of the Pool 1 Kentucky Derby Future Wager. Part 1 can be found at the link above. We profiled horses 1 through 11 in Pool number 1, which took us to Life is Good. And we're going to start here with Midnight Bourbon. Now, he's raced 4 times. Steve Asmussen trains. He's got a little bit of a distance pedigree, but I don't like the fade a couple of times in his last couple of races in both the Iroquois and the Champagne. Looks like he just wasn't up to that grade 1 class level, which Jackie's Warrior and Sittin' on Go are clearly established at this point. Now, Pickin' Time, he picked up a nice win the last time out in the Nashua Stakes. Came off the pace, but that's when the fractions were a little bit on the fast side. He did run a 90 Brisnet speed figure 2 back, but he's another one that's raced 5 times. I'm not really sure where the improvement's going to be, but he does have a distance pedigree and a little bit of a turf pedigree for Pickin' Time. Now, Red Flag jumped up big time in his 3rd lifetime start. His Brisnet speed figure improved by 15 points in the Bob Hope. He was 11-1 that day. And first crop sire Tamar Coos has got a nice one here. Red Flag goes for John Sheriffs. He's got a 92, good base, 3 races as a 2-year-old, and that should set him up for a solid 3-year-old beginning in January or February. Now, Reinvestment Risk has ran 4 times. The fast fractions and full field kind of did him in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Before that, he'd shown a little bit of talent against Jackie's Warrior, running second to him a couple of times and being favored in one of those races. Reinvestment Risk, you know, it looks like he could be more of a win early start, but, you know, he does have some distance pedigree, a couple of influences with Flatter and Candy Ride. Maybe he just needs a little bit of a rest and smaller fields to really show his best stuff. Rombauer is the perfect distance horses. Went from turf to dirt, ran second in the American Pharoah, then ran evenly and closed some ground late in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Twirling Candy, and it looks like he's just going to kind of keep on picking up the pieces. He's your long distance route specialist. 30-1 on the morning line. And if you want a horse that's got a little bit of a background to him, looks like he'll run all day long and kind of doesn't seem to be a little bit speed crazy, Rombauer could be the type of horse that you may want to back in a long shot bet at 50 or 60-1 in Pool number 1, maybe over and under the field or with a couple of horses that you may like. Now, Seville Row is going to get some play, mainly because of the connections. Bob Baffert trains, debuted with a 90 Brisnet speed figure, was favored at 6-5, but it was a small field. He didn't visually look as good as a couple of the other Baffert winners in Classier and Life is Good, but Seville Row, Quality Row definitely gets some class, and they definitely do better as 3-year-olds and older, and especially with a couple of starts under him. So I like that debut race for Seville Row. If he can improve off that in his 2nd start, he could definitely be one of the top 50 contenders for the 2020 prep races. Scarred is another one who was bet down in his debut, pulled away to a victory. He's by Into Mischief, and Into Mischief has 3 nice 2-year-olds. He's got Life is Good, and he also has couple of other nice winners with some impressive Brisnet speed figures. So Scarred definitely with the pedigree. A Fleet Alex on the broodmare side. Steve Asmussen trains, and a nice win underneath the Twin Spires at Churchill Downs, 30-1, and could be one to take if you want to take a flyer and kind of just have some money on a horse like this. Scarred could be the one. Now, Sittin' on Go after his big win in the Iroquois, ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, was bet down that day. Never really fired, of course, the fast fractions and kind of that congested pace going into the turn. Everybody kind of just bunched up when the speed tired, and I'm not sure Sittin' on Go got the best of trips. Dale Romans usually likes to start him off as 3-year-olds either at Tampa Bay at Gulfstream, but he'll definitely go to Florida, and we'll see where he fits there. Maybe possibility of coming back at the Bluegrass at Keeneland for his final prep as a 3-year-old before the Derby. Another one that you may want to consider just Sittin' on Go, 30 or 40-1 after that bad effort in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Speaker's Corner goes for Godolphin. Now, Godolphin also has essential quality. This one's trained by Bill Mott. Street Sense, the sire. Bernardini, the broodmare sire, so a lot of Godolphin connections. Nice win 2nd time out. That's what Mott does. A lot of times he'll give him a run that first out, win 2nd time out, and 7 furlongs is a good distance. That's a strong correlation between horses that do well at 7 furlongs, usually can do well at 1 1/8. So I like that pattern there by Speaker's Corner. Of course, the third time out is going to be his pivotal race. He's 50 to 1 in the morning line, a 90 Brisnet speed figure in that second start, and it's a nice 14-point jump up from that debut, running third against an impressive Team Merchants who won that race, beat him in the 6 furlong race. Now, Super Stock has ran 6 times. I think he's one of those horses that I want to toss. Steve Asmussen trains. Dialed In as the sire. Of course, Dialed In's also got Get Her Number in the future Pool 1. But Super Stock, he's already ran 6 times. And once you get over 3-4 starts and you don't have a 90 Brisnet, it's really hard to get to that 100-point speed figure unless you've got some hidden trips or some trip notes on a horse like this, or maybe possibility of some bleeding. And I'm not sure that's the case here with Super Stock. He's one that I'm going to fade here in pool number 1. 10 for 10 is kind of interesting. 50 to 1 in the morning line. First crop of Frosted, nice win second time out, stretched out to 1 1/16, won off by 8 lengths. Then came back and set fast fractions in the Nashua. The pace figure by Brisnet shows that he was 16 points faster at the first call and 14 points faster at the second call. So the possibility here, he may have kind of went too fast, going 22.4 and 46 going a mile at the Big A. If he can kind of consolidate that speed and stretch out just a little bit, he could one that could maybe still improve. He's got a nice foundation, so they could definitely come back. Shug McGahee, the trainer, he knows how to get it done, and he was purchased for some money by Cortland Farms, $410,000, that first crop of Frosted. So 10 for 10, kind of interesting at 50 to 1. All other fillies, 50 to 1. No fillies of note that I'd really want right now. And the all other entry, of course, 6 to 5, a lot of talent there. You've got 60 or 70 horses that are kind of vying in that mix with some nice maiden wins. So, you know, that 24 entry, always appealing if you want to go over a couple of horses, or if you want to take under if you like a couple of horses. Maybe a Life is Good, or a Scarred, or even a 10 for 10 or Speaker's Corner. Those should be some interesting combinations, or even Essential Quality if you're leaning in that direction over the field. So I usually like to pick a horse over the field, or the field over a couple of horses. Don't forget to watch part 1. Of course, part 2, pool 2 of the Kentucky Derby Future Wagers will be in January. And we've got a preview of the Clark Handicap up. Who do you like in the part 2 edition, from Midnight Bourbon all the way to the field? Leave a comment below, hit subscribe, ring that bell for notifications as we lead you up to the 2021 Kentucky Derby.